Well, hello everyone. This is Rachel Carl, and welcome to the second session of the 6-week Reclaim Your Life, How to Get Off and Stay Off Illegal and Legal Drugs and Alcohol teleclass series. Tonight we're going to be covering Module 2, and Ms. Petralli will be sharing with you the pillars of green mental health. She's going to talk about green body and green mind, how there's always a physical underlying cause for mental health symptoms. She's also going to talk about conscious consumption so that you know where the invisible crazy makers are and the weight-gaining chemicals so that you can avoid them. She's going to talk about fractal environmentalism, which is all about making the right health choices for yourself, which makes you an environmentalist superhero. So that's Module 2 that we're going to cover tonight. And remember, with each of these sessions, you're going to walk away with an exact strategy for lifelong success. Each class is going to build on the last one. You're going to learn in this series how to manage your doctor for the best services they can offer. And you're going to also learn what's the first thing you should do if you're suffering anxiety, depression, mental and physical fatigue. And after you've learned all of the important details of how to stay sane in a toxic world, we're going to give you step-by-step guidance in gracefully tapering yourself off of drugs and alcohol. And the key to avoiding painful and frightening withdrawal symptoms is to first build a healthy body to drop into. So you're going to have a chance to get your questions answered each week. And if you're listening live from your computer, you'll see the little box on the left-hand side of your screen that says Submit Your Question for the event here. So I want you to go ahead and submit your questions there right now. And if you think of any while Genita's talking, feel free to submit your questions also. Genita's going to try to get to all of them at the end of each call. If you're listening to the CDs at home after the series has ended, then you can email us your questions at any time at findpeace@shangrillabiospot.com, and we will answer your questions quickly. Okay, so moving right along, once again, I want you to get in a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed so you can really be present to hear all of what Genita has to say tonight. I want you to grab your water, a pen, some paper so you can jot down the key things that Genita is going to cover and any ideas that might strike while she's talking. So before I introduce our honored guest, I want you to really come from that place of just being present and listening. And I want you to imagine again, we did this in the first one, but I really want you to imagine what it's going to feel like after you've had all of the information from this entire series. You know, each time you listen, you'll get ideas and you'll feel inspired. And then what you really need to do is start taking action on those inspired thoughts. So that 8 or 10 weeks from now, you can really take charge of your health and your life once and for all. You know, you'll feel better every morning when you wake up. You'll have zero cravings. You'll have lost weight. Your skin will have cleared up. And your life is going to be better in so many ways if you really take this knowledge to heart and you really put it to use. Just make those small steps each day to get closer and closer to that big goal at the end. Just really savor that for a minute. Picture yourself there. Picture yourself in that wonderful place. Really feel that, breathe that in, and come from that place when you're listening to Genita tonight. So our guest of honor has over the next 6 weeks is Genita Petralli, of course. She's a human rights award winner, a nutritional biochemist and licensed healthcare practitioner, and the medical director of the Biosanctuary Addiction Recovery and Green Mental Health Care Center. She's worked with thousands of people to help them feel well for life. It's really her mission. And I'm talking, of course, about Genita Petralli. Now, what she's going to talk to you about are real, immediate things you can do to change the way you feel, both mentally and physically, right away. She understands that not everyone can make it to her spa and healthcare center, so she's created programs just like this one to make true green mental health care accessible to everyone. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our special guest, Genita Petralli. Welcome, Genita.
Rachel, thank you. I always love listening to your introductions. Very informative and great way to get people focused on the material that I'm going to be presenting. So tonight, this is the second one, and after I got done with the first one last Tuesday, I decided that, it's better that I give you the framework of the process at the head of the series, because I want you to prepare for the actual process, and when you know what is required of you, you can prepare better. So while I'll be taking you through far more detailed steps toward the end of the series, I am going to give you the framework this evening to so that you understand the process, so that you know what to prepare for, so you're even better prepared. So with the slides here, since, you know, I already introduced all these people, these are my endorsements, brilliant doctors, very successful in the field of orthomolecular neurochemical rehabilitation, which is a term actually that I developed, but they do this. They just didn't call it that. They call it orthomolecular medicine, which I also, of course, practice. But anyway, these are my endorsements. And of course, this is my short bio, and Rachel's already been very, very good at providing that. And of course, this is the green mental health care model that I did win a Human Rights Award for, and it is the model that I design, and it is medicine aligned with nature, supported by science. All medicine should be supported by science, and today it is not. When it's something as critical as your health, your life, how long you get to be on this planet, and the condition that you are in while you're on the planet, that is important. You know, you're not buying a car here that you can take back or what. This is your health. This is your quality of life, and it should be supported by science. Psychiatric drugs are not supported by science, okay? I have to throw that in there because people see that white coat handing them a pill and that MD behind the name, and they think they're in a safe territory, and they're not. They're in very, very dangerous territory. Psych drugs take hundreds of thousands of lives every year. And you call it the diabetes they cause, the cancer they cause, the suicides they cause, the school shootings they cause, the car accidents they cause. Call it brand the way the person died any way you want, but they are the culprit, okay, of hundreds of thousands of deaths every year. So you want your medicine supported by science, and this is supported by science, okay? Going forward, this evening, I've switched things around a little bit for the series. I'm going to give you the green mental health, detoxification, and rehabilitation process. It's detox is the first phase, biorepair is the second phase, and then maintenance. Again, this is a curative model, okay, very important, because the allopathic model in many cases, especially these made-up psychiatric conditions that, you know, psychiatry is absolutely made up. They vote. They go to conventions and they vote whether or not, you know, they just list a bunch of symptoms and they vote whether or not it's a psychiatric or mental illness, psychiatric disease or mental illness, and this is how they get things pushed through, and that is the craziest part. They're the ones that are truly the crazy ones, okay? And so anyway, the detoxification, biorepair, and maintenance process is going to be shared with you this evening. So this is very important. Each and every one of you that made it tonight, you know, sit down and thank your lucky stars, because you're getting it, and you're going to be able to ask any person, you know, questions. I will answer them within the legal limits that I can without being your practitioner. So, you know, just thank your lucky stars that you're on tonight and that you showed up, because this is going to be good stuff. You're going to get the bare bones process, all right? I will be walking you through it step by step later in the series, but now you know what to be preparing for. Now, also, at the end of last week, last Tuesday's seminar, I asked everybody to clean out their kitchens, okay? I mean, this is where we start, okay? And you can go so far just by changing your diet, starting to go to the organic farmers markets, if you have one in your area, or a health food store, and start filling your refrigerator with only whole live foods. Those are vegetables, you know, those are nuts and grains and beans. And if you're a meat eater, eat your meat, but it should be organic. And if you don't think you can afford organic, then eat less meat, okay? People can eat a little less. I don't know anybody that could not serve themselves well by eating 10% less, let's say. But anyway, I did ask that you did do that. I asked that you throw away your boxes, throw away the cans, get the crazy makers out of your house, okay? I hope everybody did that because it's the first step. You don't want those temptations. You have addictive biochemistry right now. Whether or not you're on psych drugs or illegal drugs or alcohol, you have addictive biochemistry. You are not in the driver's seat just yet. You will be at the end of the series and when you do this program, but you are not in the driver's seat, so you need to get the invisible crazy makers and all the temptations out of the house, okay? So, moving forward, I'm going to get right to business. We are going to go where no other mental health or recovery program goes. And I can say that in all honesty and truth to be absolutely fact, absolute fact. This medical model goes where no other detox and rehab goes. Many rehabs right here in Malibu where I sit are charging $65,000 for a month stay at a clinic, and they're talking to you, and while they're talking, and they're feeding you junk food, and they're feeding you pesticide-ridden cheap food, and they're charging $65,000 to talk to you, okay? You can't talk a person out of addiction or mental health distress or symptoms. You just can't. You can talk them into seeking help, and then you hope that they land with us where they get the right help, but you can't talk a person out of their symptoms, so therefore you can't talk a person out of their addictions, because so long as a person is symptomatic, and I'll say this a lot because you need to understand what got you where you are right now. So long as a person is symptomatic and the body cannot mediate the symptoms and clear the symptoms on its own naturally, it will literally instruct you to reach out for relief. Now, in many schools of thought in medicine, they call this compulsiveness. Well, it's only compulsive because it is actually attached to your survival system, your survival mechanism. This is human nature, okay? When you are experiencing pain, be it emotional, psychological, or physical, it is registered in the brain as impending death. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. You're going to go, as animals, go find a place by themselves and crawl and trying to hide and lick their wounds and this and that. They try and get out of the danger's way, which people do. They isolate themselves when they're suffering a lot, and then they try and lick their wounds and try and heal. Well, people that are suffering symptoms, they will reach out for whatever they find that relieves that pain, because it is not it's not expected in nature. In the natural person, healthy person doesn't expect to feel pain. Okay, we have systems that heal the pain internally, but a lot of people are tanking. Their tank is empty, basically. They don't have the nutritional constitution and everything present, and there's so much toxicity. The toxicity is winning, and it's causing symptoms, and the body can't keep up. It just can't keep producing the neurochemicals that you need to mediate the emotional, psychological pain. So it's much like, I broke my arm when I was 21 years old. I was roller skating, Golden Gate Park. And I remember, the body goes into shock. I broke my arm. Ooh, I couldn't feel a thing, Well, had I not gotten to the hospital and got, some Novocaine when they said it and all that, had I not gotten to the hospital soon enough, you betcha, the pain would have set in eventually. Then we only have so much stores at any given time to handle pain, and so many people are under such toxic assault and chronic stress. And when it becomes chronic, we run out of the neurochemicals to be able to mediate the pain, whatever it is. So and I'll go back to, this program goes where no other detox or rehab goes, because not only, of course, yes, we do provide psychological counseling in the form of integral life counseling, integral life practice. We ask the person, we are helping you create your new future, a new habitat for you to walk into and to feel comfortable in, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable immediately, being sober and being clean. It's all new to them. Their feelings are new to them. They're awake. They're alive. They have so much energy and enthusiasm. Sometimes it's overwhelming in a good way, though. So what we like to do is get people focused. Instead of looking into the past and all that, it's just things are what they are right now. And the best you can do is create a great future for yourself. So we ask people to create the highest vision of themselves. And then we start developing that person and the support system to support the person, in continuing to head in that direction when they leave the clinic. And we also provide that counseling for the outpatient program. But anyway, yes, we do approach, the psychological body with counseling as well as neuro-linguistic programming. However, what is very unique about my programming, where, we are the most thorough in the industry, is that I am a orthomolecular neurochemical rehabilitation specialist. I know where to look in the physical body for what is causing the symptoms, okay? The physical body breaks down, and specifically in the neuroendocrine system, which is your pharmacist within. It starts breaking down, and it can't mediate psychological and emotional demands on the person anymore. And as well as the substances themselves do cause a lot of damage themselves, so that really locks in the addiction. So we test. Everything you're going to learn how to do here, either on your own or with us, on your own with your doctor or with us. If you choose to do that after the series, then we actually take the fee of the seminar off of your outpatient program. But anyway, what we do is we find the underlying cause. But a lot of people say, oh, yes, we find the root cause. Well, I've yet to know, a really good facility that knows how to do that appropriately, like how to test, et cetera, et cetera. The Biosanctuary itself is entirely non-toxic. We remove, just as I expect you to do in your home, to create a long, healthy life and minimize all the oxidative stress that could be damaging your body and mind. We do at the facility. We are entirely green, non-toxic cooking, non-toxic health care, non-toxic personal hygiene. I have an organic chemist that makes everything at the clinic. Non-toxic cleaning supplies for the clinic. Everything is non-toxic. In fact, in the industry, we're called the 5-star human car wash because of the services that we provide, everything from colonics to infrared sauna treatments and detoxification and mineral pools, et cetera, et cetera. So, and all these things, if you need to stay at home, believe me, all these things are available in your area. You're going to know what to look for and what, you'll be getting out of it when you start, the various services in your area that you can start. So for this reason, see, we are the ones that get rid of all of the known crazy makers that will accumulate again one day. See, these people get out of these rehabs, and they don't know how to create a healthy environment for themselves. So, they cleaned up a little bit, not anywhere near, the way they do at our clinic because, most places are still serving, pathetic foods, cheap foods. They're all trying to save a bunch of money, so they're feeding people cheap food. It's just not done right. And they're using all kinds of, antibacterials and cleaning supplies that are extremely toxic on your clothes, on the sheets, everything. They're allowing toxic personal hygiene products, and people are still putting aluminum underneath their armpits while they're supposed to be detoxing. It just doesn't make sense, right? So anyway, but then we also teach you, and you are going to be taught in the series, how to green your home. How do you leave, or if you're doing the program in the outpatient way, or on your own, how do you create an environment so that you don't end up sick again? Because it was the environment, the toxic environment and stress and probably traumatic, events that accumulate and cause this, okay, cause the addictive biochemistry as well as the mental health symptoms. So you want to, learn how, well, anyway, this is what we do, all right? It's a fully comprehensive, big picture look at what's causing addiction and mental health symptoms, where how to source them out and remove them in your environment, and we find the root cause of your specific problem with diagnostics, laboratory testing. All right, it always boils. Most people have adrenal fatigue, thyroid issues, sluggish livers. And we find these, and we root them out, and we fix them, and the result is excellent mental health and absolutely no craving for any substances. You're back in the driver's seat. You feel good. You don't need medicines anymore. And believe me, after a person has suffered addiction or mental health symptoms, they know what's behind that, and they don't want it anymore, and they don't need it anymore, so they don't compulsively reach out for it anymore. So I'm going to start discussing the actual process now. The actual process is first comprehensive detoxification. And like I said, what I mean by comprehensive is not just the body, but you need to detox your environment to keep the body clean, all right? The more you minimize oxidative stress, because like I said in the last seminar, oxidative stress is the underlying cause of all disease. It is cellular death. Cellular death is what causes the organs to one day, if it is allowed to progress, to start failing. Okay, that's what causes symptoms, and then symptoms will get worse as the failure intensifies, and then of course the organ dies, and then unfortunately the person. So you want comprehensive detoxification. Okay. The second phase, and by the way, during the first 2 months, the detox phase is actually 2 months, 7 solid weeks, 1 prep week and 7 weeks. The detoxification phase actually sets the stage for the long-term healing. I mean, an enormous amount of healing has gone on in that first 7 weeks. At that point, you are tapered off, you are clean, you are sober, you are feeling great, you're sleeping great, you're energetic, you're focused, you're clear, all the good stuff. It's amazing when you do this program, the way I dispense it, the way I teach it, how quickly the body heals itself when you're not cutting any corners, okay? It is magical. It's one of the greatest joys in my life watching people get well at as quickly as they do. But yeah, I want you to also know that a huge amount of healing is accomplished because detoxification, when you get all the toxic, the bad stuff out of the body, that's exactly what it starts doing. It can now use its nutritional and energy stores to start going into repair and replication, which is growth mode, all right? And growth mode, by the way, when it's outpictured consciously and psychologically, is when you feel creative and inspired and enthusiastic about life. I mean, literally watching the birds fly, in the sky and just going, wow, that's really cool. Life is a magical thing. And unless you're waking up every day recognizing that fact and just how beautiful this opportunity is, then you are not in growth mode. And that is the psychological condition outpicturing of knowing when your body is in growth mode. It's peaceful. You feel comfortable inside your own skin. Everything is good. There are no alarms going off because you are healthy and you're feeling great, okay? So an enormous amount of healing goes on in that first 2 months. And then there's a second phase, which usually lasts about 6 months, is the biorepair phase. And this focuses on the pharmacist within, which is the neuroendocrine system. Again, I cannot stress this one enough. The neuroendocrine system is the cause of a broken or deficient neuroendocrine system is the cause for mental health symptoms and addiction, okay? When that system, the pharmacist within, because it makes all the neurochemicals, the hormones and the neurotransmitters that you need to be in homeostasis, to be in balance with your environment, and when you're not, that's when the alarms start going off, and that's when you call, and medicine calls, psychiatric symptoms, but really it's alarms going off. Your brain is really just the reporting system. Don't, like the Greeks, they kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. Don't take psych drugs. Don't drink yourself to death into oblivion. Don't kill the messenger. The brain is just reporting what's going on in the entire body. It's a body consciousness. You cannot separate the mind and the body. So the 6-month biorepair phase focuses on the neuroendocrine system because it does take, your adrenals will be working much better than when you started the program in just that 7 weeks of doing the program. They'll be working much better. But it takes time to really seal the deal and get the job done once and for all. Adrenals, are usually take in really bad cases about 4 to 6 months to really completely heal, really get all the good functioning back, and they're not in quasi mode where they're kind of functioning okay now but not completely healed. You want to really get them plump and nice and healthy again. So the biorepair phase is 6 months. and we'll discuss more about that and how that's accomplished. And then, because this is a curative model and not a treatment for life model like allopathic medicine, this is in most forms of allopathic medicine, especially the psychiatric approach. But this is a curative model, so I'm not expecting people. I use supplements to achieve a healing event, and then once that healing event is accomplished, that's when you're healed now. You don't have to take a bunch of vitamins and supplements anymore. So then you're actually able to just go on a maintenance program, and you'll take probably what I take every single day. I take my organic multivitamins and minerals. I take my cod liver oil and a really good blend of antioxidants, because unfortunately we live in an extremely toxic world, and even with my green home and my green business and my green everything, personal hygiene, everything, food, organic, I still have to breathe the air, and we still come in contact with a lot of toxicity throughout the day because I go over to other people's houses. It's there. So to fight the good fight, I take a lot of antioxidants, and that's the maintenance phase. So you would just take a good maintenance program that any health conscious person would take, but you'll also know how to choose those products, the best products out there, because I've been in this business for a long time, and I know what people are up to behind the scenes, and a lot of people are in this business because they can put the word organic on a label and charge double, and it's really, really a pathetically, deficient product. It's just, they're just, they're rotten gut. There's a lot of products out there that just are not good products, and just because it has that organic label on it or something, people just think, ooh, they're in safe zone, and that's just simply not true, unfortunately. Everybody in this business is not ethical, let's put it that way. So let's go on. We'll continue on and discuss the mechanics of comprehensive detoxification. Okay, so many people, if people have the money, because I like the befores and afters. I'm a scientist, so I like being able to show people on paper their progress. Okay, on paper, yeah, they feel great. They know they feel great, but it's funny. A lot of people just in that 2 months they forget how horrible they felt, and I really like to show people, demonstrate to people how far they have come in such a very, very short period of time. So, if you have insurance, go to your doctor and get a CBC. It comes with every physical. So get a complete blood count. That's called a CBC. Get a CBC. There's a functional liver detoxification profile that you can get that actually tests liver detox ability. You take challenge substances such as acetaminophen and aspirin, and it measures how much comes out of your urine, so they can actually rate the performance of various detoxification pathways in your liver. And but I don't ask people to take neuroendocrine system function testing at the beginning, because it's just a waste of money. I don't do brain chemistry analysis while people are on sugar, caffeine, and drugs or alcohol. Or I don't take it when they're on supplements and protein shakes, because it all changes stuff, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But I mean, it's common sense. If we're looking at brain chemistry, and we know donuts and coffee, change. It just that is not a state that you expect to be in. So why would I want to have information that's not your baseline profile? It's not you on a healthy diet, living the life that you're establishing for yourself to live. What I do is I take these tests when you are done with your detoxification program, the 7-week program. I ask you to eat a regular diet, and of course organic, but you get to add the meat back in, the cheeses and stuff, all the goodies that you like, no sugars, no caffeines. And then I ask you to do that for 7 days with no supplements or protein shakes. That's when I take neuroendocrine system function testing. That's when I take thyroid, adrenal, brain chemistry, because for obvious reasons, so much healing goes on that at that time I can find the true, the deeper damage that's been done that's going to take the 6 months or so to heal. And that's, like I said, typically adrenal. Sometimes there's a little thyroid, function work that still needs to be done. But the thyroid starts coming back to adrenal. I mean, a lot of healing goes on, but there's a bit of long-term damage, especially in the really chronic addicted individuals, and also those especially on psych drugs. Psych drugs are just horrible on the neuroendocrine system. They just do a lot of damage. So, but the testing at the beginning, if you want to get some testing at the beginning and see where you're at, and that would be a CBC and a functional liver detoxification profile, okay? And then there's the nutritional supplements, what you should take for the first 2 months. Now, because I'm not your practitioner, I can't, I can't prescribe, because there's certain supplements that should not be taken while you're on certain psych drugs, especially, and then there's certain supplements that are really good for whatever it is that you're doing. Alcohol. There's a really good one, of course. Well, there's one actually in the book, Alcoholism: The Cause and the Cure, in the back. All of you have gotten a copy of that. What I am doing for this for the folks that have signed up for this teleseminar, I am giving a very basic one that has nothing in it that could hurt anybody in any way. The dangerous ones, for people, such as on psych drugs, because I can't make a template type protocol and put it out to the public, without taking out all the ones that we know are dangerous to the general public if they're on anything: alcohol, psych drugs, cocaine, heroin, doesn't matter. So I can't. I can't put that out to the general public and go, okay, this is a great, detox. But there are certain things that I can give you, and I am going to email everyone a standard detox protocol that wants one from this teleseminar that basically covers the basics. Like, everybody can use, a good colon cleanser, detoxifier. Everyone could use liver, those agents and herbs and supplements that we know really help the liver rebuild itself and detoxify. Everyone can use, some of the calming, the non-dangerous calming type supplements to help get through the withdrawal stage. So there is a basic one that I have provided. It is in no way a targeted nutritional therapy that, of course, you would receive working with me directly. But if you can't afford it, that's what this is all about. If you can't afford out-of-pocket health care, then that's exactly what this is about. It's about empowering you with information that you need to make the best choices that you can in your situation toward getting well. So I will actually provide that to anybody that emails us requesting one that has come on to this teleseminar series. So the next thing you need to do, once you've established if you're going to get tests, and then and by the way, the next Tuesday's module is I'm going to be going over just exactly that, the supplements. What the ones that are in my programs, what they do, what they're useful for, so that you can take a look at, and I'll also send you symptom sheets so that you can, this is really fun too. I have, about 400 questions or so in 2 symptom charts. That ask specific questions about various symptoms, itchy feet, and everything, because it's funny. Well, not funny really, but people do. They get so accustomed to their symptoms that they forget that they have them. They have just learned to live with them to the degree that they don't even recognize them. I actually have to ask these questions, because otherwise people would forget that they actually have them. Anyway, if you want those symptom charts, I'll send them out so you can fill out a set before you start your program. And then this is the fun part. You fill out another blank set at the end of the 2 months, just so you can show yourself. Seriously, I don't care what people check off. 95% of it's gone. It's just in 2 months. 95, and I don't care what it is. If it's itchy, athlete's feet, you name it, it's gone. So anyway, let's see, where was I? Oh, so next week, next Tuesday, the next teleseminar, I'm going to be discussing the supplements. So you can, fill out your supplement, your symptom charts, take and then replay the supplement educational module of next week, and figure out for yourself. Okay, she says this is good for this, and I have that, so okay, I'll add that one. Or you could just go by the basic one that I'll be sending out to everyone. If you like I said, if you can't afford out-of-pocket health care, then that's the best you can do. And it's good because, when you clean out your diet and when you do everything else I tell you to do, what the supplements do is they really help get through the withdrawal phase. They really help minimize any transitional discomfort. They really help people tapering off of psych drugs, especially because that can be a little more daunting. And they do, of course, accelerate the healing process. But if you can't afford it, then you just go longer. You just stay on your program and you just go longer. And just expect a longer recovery time, maybe a year or a little over. So, but most people, I think that they could afford to get on this teleseminar, probably could afford to at least get, the good supplements and get some targeted nutritional therapy put together for you. Or, you could just do the basic program that I'm laying out here this evening. You go get through the detox and then do the test and see if you can get your doctor, and I'll cover that when we get to that part, but, I'll help explain how to manage your doctor to try and get these tests done under your insurance if you have it. And then when you get your test results back, then I will allow, I don't typically do this for the general, I do not ever actually, for the general public. I'm a specialist. I run a clinic. I'm a specialist, so I don't ever allow people just to walk in my office and get hire me by the hour. I don't do that. If they don't do the 2-month detoxification, I will not work with them. I need to see complete commitment in a healing event, and a comprehensive complete commitment in a healing event, and the one that I provide because I'm the most thorough that I know of in the business. So anyway, but right after when you get your test results back from your doctor, I will write a targeted nutritional therapy and adjuvant therapy protocol for you for your second phase, so you've minimized my participation and expense. And been taught how to try and get your insurance to pay for the tests, which are expensive, fairly expensive. But most doctors will work with you. They will, and I'll explain more about that in a little bit. So the second thing you're going to do is you're going to remove all toxins in your diet and environment known to create imbalances in brain chemistry. Now, this you're going to learn a lot more about in the 4th module where I add over all the invisible crazy makers and the things that you can do and use to help protect yourself from them, because it is crazy. It's insane out there today. Each and every one of us, people using conventional products, and those of people that are not consciously protecting themselves, eating right, using the right hygiene, drinking the right water, breathing in the right air, making sure there's no mold in the house. Those people that are not consciously protecting themselves have enormous amount of health problems, and it is because they are extremely toxic. The Environmental Workers Group recently published a study. It's on my website. Most of you probably already heard me say this, but I'll say it again because it is important. They recently did a study where they took a bunch of randomly selected pregnant women right before as they were giving birth. They took an inch of the umbilical cord and tested it for environmental toxicity and of course, food toxins and environmental toxicity. They found over 300, average of over 300 toxic, neurotoxic, and excitotoxic, endocrine disruptors in that umbilical cord. And you can be assured that every baby being born today under those conditions is being dumbed down. Their mental capacity is not what it is, and what it could have been had that baby been born in an entirely organic and non-toxic environment. And is it the mother's fault? No, because every woman, most I'm sure that we all know, do their very best to be at their very best and their healthiest while they're pregnant. It's because there's so many involuntary toxins, and people are not told the truth. They're told that, they just, vegetables are good for you. Well, you know what? The pesticides on vegetables when you're pregnant, if there's a good dosage of just one of those organophosphates or just one. If there's a good, strong dose of just one day, and here you're eating all these, leaf vegetables because you're told it's all good for you, but nobody warned you about the pesticides, you can actually stall development of your unborn child for that day. And once, in development, once you lose it, you don't get it back. So, and it's not just one day, it's, it accumulates like everything else. So, with all the other chemicals in your environment and your personal hygiene and your water, chlorine in the water is a toxin. And when you take a shower, you actually absorb it, and it goes right into the blood system and levies a huge oxidative stress tax on all the organs. So anyway, what you want to do, and we're going to be going through this in much more detailed fashion in the 4th module, where I go through all the sources. And by the way, I'm also going to teach you how to, I love this program. I love doing this because I'm cleaning up the planet. I'm going to teach you how to green your home, where to look, where to sort, but and how to protect yourself. And we're going to go into detail. There's a lot going on out there, and we're going to go into personal hygiene products. I'm going to tell you what they're good ones. I'm going to give you the website to go to research your own, so you can see what you're putting on your body, so you can see for your own eyes. You get to type in all those words you can't pronounce on the back of your deodorant. You're going to find out why there's a label on there that says that it can induce kidney failure. Okay, I can't imagine why anybody would continue using a product that has a label right there on the product that says it can cause kidney damage. It doesn't make sense. People are they're not reacting to the truth today. I guess people don't want to accept the truth, I guess. I don't know why, but it's right there on the label of the conventional deodorants because of the aluminum in there. So anyway, we're going to be going in there, but right when we get off of this teleseminar this evening, there are some things that you can do. You can go. There's 2 products that you can get right away that covers most of the house's cleaning and laundry and everything. You can get a Dr. Bronner's all organic cleaner at any health food store. I think Trader Joe's sells it by the gallon. And you start using that for your, I use it to clean my body. I use it to clean the dishes. It's all organic, and they sell it in many different scents. So, I use the lavender to clean myself, and I use the lemon one for the laundry, and you can also get a bottle of 35% hydrogen peroxide, that's food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Please remember to look up on the internet how to properly dilute it to 3%. You cannot use hydrogen peroxide, food grade, 35% on you or anything. It will burn a hole through you. But it is an excellent mouthwash. Keeps your teeth clean. Keeps bacteria out of the mouth, the bad stuff. It can be used to disinfect the walls, the counters, the floors. So those 2 products, and you can throw away all the other junk, the bar soaps, which just are horrible on your skin. There's pesticides and neurotoxins and those, petroleum products. I mean, it's just crazy, all the stuff that people put on their body. So you can, and I know a lot of people actually use Dr. Bronner's to wash their hair. So these are 2 organic, very all-around great things to use around the house and on your body. And, of course, not hydrogen peroxide, but you can gargle with it. The food grade, and you dilute it to 3%, and you gargle with it, and it's excellent. The white teeth, it's really, really great stuff. And you just buy those 2 products, and you throw all the other junk away, and you actually save money right there. You green your home, or the cleaning products in your home, and you're saving money. Okay, so, it's not, to live well, it does not cost more. And I'm going to talk more about that in the diet, too, in an upcoming seminar on this series. So now the other thing you want to do is the next thing, and probably the most important thing you can start doing right now, is eat an organic, whole food, vegetarian, gluten-free diet for 8 weeks. Well, I mean, this is the 8 weeks because I'm talking about the program itself. So the detox, the first phase, as I said, the detoxification phase is 7 solid weeks, 1 prep week and 7 solid weeks. So, but right now, if you're a meat eater, you can save, the really strict, detox diet for when you decide to actually start your program, okay? You don't have to deny yourself the meats that you love, but I do suggest that you go right away and start buying them at an organic market and get, the ones that don't have the hormones and the drugs and are so inhumane to the animals, and stop, eating that stuff, because actually those hormones, those growth hormones that they're giving the animals so that they can bloat them up so they get more pounds out of them at slaughter and make more money, those hormones are being transferred in the meat and are, I'm sure, causing people to be gaining weight when they shouldn't be. So anyway, that's something you can do right away. Just, now just go organic. Eat what you normally eat. Just make it organic. Okay, we'll put the restrictions later on, when you start, the day that you decide you want to start your program. I do want people to, try and kick. I'm not going to discourage anybody from starting right away. If they need to start, if they feel they need to start, please do, quit. But for true success, and you want to be entirely informed before you begin. And then actually that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give you the framework this evening of the actual program, so you know how to prepare. And you'll know when you're prepared, and as soon as you're prepared, and then make your start date, get your supplements, make your start date, and start that 8-week whole food, vegetarian, gluten-free, sugar-free, caffeine-free diet. Now, in the program materials that you got, there's a food guide, and there's the food for humans. You have 85 recipes right there already in your program materials to start eating really, really well, tasty, great on the eyes, great on the tongue dishes. So you have that, and you also have a food guide for the detox. It's the dietary chart. It's a one-pager that was sent with your materials, and you just looked on that chart for what's allowed and what's not allowed on the program. Okay? So also during the detox phase, the 8-week detox phase, you have to discontinue use of all sugar, caffeine, and artificial sweeteners. Those things are killing people. Though the artificial sweeteners, they are driving kids nuts. They are excitotoxins. They overstimulate the sympathetic nervous system. Gee, why are they bouncing off the walls? They are endocrine disruptors. Gee, why are they bouncing off the walls? Why did we not have kids doing this 100 years ago before all this stuff got into our food? Well, because it took that stuff getting into our food and poisoning us and overstimulating us and our children to start causing these symptoms. You want to alkalize the body and regulate your blood sugar. Now, of course, getting on this diet is going to regulate blood sugar. And by the way, I want to discuss this because it's extremely important. One of the key reasons that people go nuts, and in a very, very risky way, when they're trying to get off psych drugs, is because, well, for one, they're not doing this. They're not creating a healthy body to drop into. You need to create a healthy body to drop into. And a key in that is regulating your blood sugar. Now, getting the sugar, the caffeine, the artificial sweeteners, the crazy makers out of your diet, aspartame drives your insulin all over the place. The key reason, one of the key reasons why they go batty and in a very risky way is because their blood sugar, when you're withdrawing from a psych drug, you add to that discomfort a low blood sugar episode, and you have got a recipe for jumping off a bridge. You have got a recipe for it. People dive down into deep depression, or they go the other direction into extreme anxiety and akathisia, and this is absolutely aggravated by a low blood sugar hit. And so, that's why I never start a taper until I know that their blood sugar is regulated. This is key, people, key. So you definitely, and you'll be regulating your blood sugar just by doing the top two, the upper two bullets there. That you get on the organic food and you eliminate sugar, caffeine, all artificial sweeteners. There's no caffeine, no sugar in this detox. In fact, you can't have it for about 8 months. Because each and every one of you, if you've been on psych drugs for a while or alcohol, My clinical experience is that over 95% of the people that have come to me that, I get to test and see it with my own eyes have severe adrenal fatigue issues. So anybody with severe adrenal fatigue issues, you need time to heal, and you cannot add caffeine to that event, to that healing event, until your adrenals are totally back, and then only in extremely moderate amounts, like 1 cup. And I don't even like to see people doing it daily, because when you do something daily, you neurochemically adapt, and then you create an addiction. So like myself, I'll have a cup of coffee maybe a few times a week, but I don't like doing anything every day because I know what it does to people. I'm human just as you are human. It creates an addiction. My body expects it, it starts writing it. It expects it every day. And now, I'm addicted. And I like being the master of myself and my future. And I don't like being hijacked. I am the master of my body. I'm the one that decides what I want when I want it, not cravings and compulsion, okay? So anyway, and then alkalizing the body, very, very important. People, if you've been on psych drugs for any length of time, you are acidic. Alcohol addiction, you are acidic. If you are eating a conventional diet, you are acidic. And most people are extremely acidic today. And by the way, acidic environment in the body, we're talking about pH here. An acidic system is actually a prerequisite for cancer and many other diseases. Cancer thrives. In fact, pathogens they need an acidic environment to thrive, such as Candida. One of the fastest ways, what I add to the Candida program is definitely H2O2 IV therapy if you can get it, because, that kills off the die-off. But I also add to that an alkalizing program with alkalizing salts, because that really globally just seals the deal. It really helps get rid of Candida fast because the yeast needs an acidic environment to thrive. So you have an alkalizing instructions in your program materials, and the blood sugar is taken care of with the upper 2 bullet points there, okay? So now let's discuss exercise. If you want to be healthy, this is how pragmatic, health is and science is. If you want to be healthy, you have to live a healthy life, and that includes exercise. You have to lay your head down to sleep 7 or 8 hours a night. You have to eat good, organic, whole foods. You have to get sunlight. You have to get clean water in your body every single day. Good, mineral-rich, clean water. And you have to exercise. This is a pillar of health, especially in today's world. I've been, preaching about how toxic the world is, and about accumulation and what these toxins do when they accumulate, such as cause mental health symptoms and addiction, addictive biochemistry, which leads to addiction. So, you need to exercise every day to detox. You absolutely need to detox every day. You need to oxygenate. You need to detox. Now, you want to take a day off, that's fine. That's a good program. You break it up a little, 1 or 2 days off even a week. But I ask people to exercise every day about an hour to an hour and a half. I mean, a really good, true exercise, and I don't mean walking. Walking is not an exercise. You need to get on a bike, go up and down hills. You need to jog. You need to sweat, okay? That's exercise. But on your days off, it's good to go to a sauna, because then at least you keep, the toxins going out. And that's what you want. You want to go to bed every night having done your best to detox every single day. Because, again, even though you're taking your antioxidants, you are still, and you're greening your home and your personal hygiene and your food and everything, you're still, there's the involuntary toxins in the air and such and around. So it's just a good idea to detox every day so you don't accumulate, okay? And by the way, and you make exercise fun, play tennis, and bowling is not an exercise, okay? You want to sweat, all right? You need to sweat. But try and make it fun. I mean, the days, if you're, kayaking or rowing or things like that, the days that you do those things, your recreational things that you enjoy, or mountain biking, of course you don't go exercise, because that is exercise. That is excellent exercise, and it's fun. But the days you don't get out to be able to do that, then you need to hit the gym or do your jog or whatever it is that you like to do. But find something you like to do and make it a part of your lifestyle. Then, so basically what you're doing with everything that I've discussed during this detoxification program is you're building a healthy body and mind to drop into while getting off of drugs and or alcohol. This is what's key. I actually have people in the program who come to me. In fact, most of them, well, they come to me at first. I do their first taper, and because that's always the scariest, because they've tried, in the past, and they've come up with all these symptoms, and it's, and then they expect that to happen again. So it's very, very scary, the first taper. And the first taper is 50% in my program. When you're under my care, it's 50%, and I know you've done everything that you're supposed to do, and I can evaluate you and know that you're ready. It's 50%, and guess what? Rarely does anybody even notice, because I'm building a healthy body for them to drop into, a non-symptomatic healthy body. All they're doing at this point is getting off the drug, but I've covered myself there too, because the detoxification diet that they're on is actually creating an enhanced response to the drug that they're on. So they're going to get 100% out of a 100% response out of a 50% dosage, because the drug has far better access to the cells. And also the supplements they're on are actually mimicking what the drug is doing, so I've got it covered. So in a healthy body, for instance, if I took a Prozac pill right now, I would feel sick. It would make me feel weird and sick, because I'm healthy. So in a healthy body, drugs they don't make you feel good in a healthy body. So actually, when people taper, they actually feel better. And then, so I actually, I tell people, okay, just let it, ride for a few days, and then tell me how you're feeling, and we'll set a date for your next taper when you're ready. And they're always coming to me, okay, Genita, I want to do it. I'm just feeling better every time we taper, so let's do another one. They're excited now. They're feeling better every time we taper instead of going nuts, instead of experiencing the things that they experienced in the past. Why? Because they were not creating a healthy body drop into. They were dropping into a body that had been continued to be damaged, because, of course, the root cause was never explored. The doctor just gave them a pill that masked all their symptoms, so they never got an opportunity to find out what was causing the problem and to make the dietary and lifestyle changes to get rid of it, or environmental, exposures to get rid of it. So the problem has only gotten worse, because the oxidative stress from the drug has made that problem actually worse. And then the damage that the drugs do themselves is there. So then that's causing problems. And then they have the withdrawal issue. So, they're dropping into a much more unhealthier diet, body. And that's why they are all over the map. You never know what to expect to tape when people try and taper on their own. It's just not advised. It's not advised at all. So anyway, so that is the first 2 months right there. One prep week I give people kind of, if you're drinking, I say, okay, cut it back 50%, but get your meal plan together, get everything situated, get the bad stuff out of your kitchen, put all the good stuff in, go shopping. And then the 7-week absolute detoxification diet, okay? Now, let's see. I want to just discuss the Pharmacist within for a few minutes, because it's very important. There's certain key aspects of this medical model that I really want people to understand. The Pharmacist within is the neuroendocrine system, okay? This is the system that creates the neurochemicals, the hormones, and the neurotransmitters that either create good feelings, or when they're not created, they create bad feelings and addictions, okay? This is where the neuroendocrine, okay, neuro, which is the nervous system, and endocrine glands, your hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, sex organs, where everything, and by the way, when you look at these these organs and what they do and how they talk to each other back and forth. There's feedback loops, you know, and, you know, so for instance, if there's way too much insulin in the system, there's a mechanism, a feedback mechanism to start, you know, somatostatin is pumped out to reduce the hypothalamus, to reduce, you know, the insulin. There's all these checks and balances to keep you in homeostasis, because too much of any one chemical in your body can kill you. So your body has these feedback systems put in, and this is the neuroendocrine system, to manage itself. And it's such a sophisticated, brilliant system of checks and balances. You know, no doctor on the planet should ever be trying to intervene with the system, because you just don't know what you're doing. You just heal the pieces and let nature take its course. That's what you got to do. And by the way, these are the key areas. These are the key areas here that I look at when I'm treating my patients for damage. You know, when I run my lab tests and et cetera, et cetera. All my diagnostics are around finding out what in these areas, like for instance, the alcohol drinkers, the pituitary shrinks. It's just exhausted trying to keep up with it. And it's just known that you know, the pituitary is only about the size of a pea to begin with. You know, you can't do too much damage before you're getting some pretty severe issues there. So anyway, you know, there's always a number, actually, usually a collection of about 3 to 5 pieces in this picture here that are damaged, okay? Because they all talk to each other and rely on the other for information and for performance, so that the other one can do well. So anyway, those are the glands that typically are the ones that, you know, are giving us a problem that cause mental health symptoms. These are the physical glands that, when they're not working well, will cause mental health issues, okay? And addiction. So the pharmacist within, the hypothalamus, the orthomolecular pharmacist within, receives information from the in and external environment and writes a prescription for neurotransmitters and hormones, which requests various neurochemicals, neurotransmitters, and hormones in order for the body to both function well and be able to repair and replicate cells that it requires to survive in that particular environment. So I'll just put this in a simpler way, I hope. The hypothalamus, okay, when, you know, it's nice and warm in your home, and if anybody is, I think I have somebody in Texas actually on the lines tonight, but it's nice and warm in your home, and you have an ice storm going on outside, I'm told, down there. So it's nice and warm in your home, and you walk outside, and it's freezing, okay? Bam, 50 degree drop, right? Well, it's the hypothalamus that says, well, it's cold now, and it sends a bunch of signals to the pituitary that sends signals to the thyroid that say, okay, up the metabolism, we got to keep the body warm. And it just right there in that 1 second, a nanosecond, changes your entire body function, okay? That's how important, that's the hypothalamus. In fact, it's been established that the hypothalamus actually processes about 6,000 pieces of information a second in the internal and external environment of the body to maintain homeostasis. So note that the neurochemicals and hormones are made from raw materials provided by nature, which is whole foods. Whole foods, not aspartame, not sugar, not caffeine, not, you know, this junk food. You need whole foods to run this machine, the pharmacist within. It needs, when you take your prescription from your doctor, in this case the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus sends all these messages to the pituitary, which sends all, you know, messages to the rest of the endocrine system, nervous and endocrine systems. Well, for those organs to be able to fulfill that prescription and produce the hormones and neurotransmitters for the event, that, be it stress, be it chill, cold, anything, for them to fulfill that prescription and make the drug that the body's asking for, it needs the raw materials. And if you're not giving it the raw materials, or if the system is just broken, it's not going to do that. And when it doesn't do it, once the hypothalamus writes the prescription, if the gland doesn't send out the neurochemicals, you become symptomatic, okay? Very important that you understand this because, they've got everybody fooled thinking that this stuff is in your head, and it's not. It's in your body. You can't separate the mind from the body. So when this pharmacist, this brilliant system of checks and balances, the pharmacist within, is working well, it is called homeostasis. Homeostasis is the scientific term for health. This is when the organism is happy. It's in growth mode. It's got everything it needs. It feels peaceful in its environment. Everything is in harmony. Everything is in balance. It's got everything it needs. It knows it has everything it needs to live and survive in its environment second by second. Okay? When it doesn't have that, when it does not have that, it is called disease because the brain, and it produces symptoms, because the brain is sending out alarms, and those alarms we call symptoms, okay? It's either cravings, because the cravings are made so that you'll reach out and get some relief because the body is instructing you, make the pain stop, make the pain stop. I can't do it anymore. Reach out, get something to make the pain stop. So when it's not working well, it's called disease, and disease equals death. It means that the brain is sending out the alarm signals because something's wrong, and the brain is charged with keeping you alive. Very, very important. And this is the HPA axis. I threw this slide in there to help people along a little bit to see, just, have a pictorial here of what goes on in a stress, just like one stress event, that tiger that's chasing you. The stressor comes from the environment, and it hits the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus sends CRF, the hormone, to the pituitary. The pituitary sends the ACTH to the adrenals. Then the adrenals will produce the cortisol, which is sent to the brain to calm the brain down. Cortisol actually stimulates serotonin in the amygdala. It does a lot of things, but it stimulates serotonin in the amygdala to calm and make you feel a little more peaceful and more alert. Because, when the tiger's chasing you, you want to be extremely alert. You want to be able to make a decision very quickly. Should I go up a tree? Should I run? What should I do? But anyway, see, the thing is when the adrenals, for instance, when the adrenals stop working, well, the stressor keeps pounding away, the alarms go off, but you're not getting any relief. You're not getting any comfort. You're not getting any serotonin. You're not getting any feel-good chemicals to mediate the fear, the anguish, and the stress of the event. And that's what people are doing, through food, through toxic situations and people in their lives. They're creating a chronic stress syndrome where it's just not working anymore. There's no more adrenal function to relieve the brain of the alarms going off by the stressor. Okay? Now, and this is just a quick snapshot. I don't want to get too science on it. I just want to show you how this is actual science, okay? The HPA attempts to balance the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. So in a stressor event, which I just showed you, via the sympathetic nervous system, the hypothalamus stimulates norepinephrine and epinephrine, regulates heart rate, blood pressure, blood volume, and blood sugar. This is your sympathetic nervous system. It's going into alarm mode. Now, it also stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system and gets it into action. So the CRF stimulates, the CRF, remember, that when it came from the hypothalamus to the pituitary, actually stimulates GABA and beta endorphins. By the way, this is what alcohol produces in the body. This is why people, actually people prone to addiction to alcohol have a predisposition to addiction to alcohol. It's been recorded that a study showed that they actually have smaller hypothalamus, diminished hypothalamus function. We got to get that hypothalamus working right again. So then the cortisol. So see, GABA calms you down, and beta endorphins are your body's natural endorphin system, or your body's natural morphine, and that actually goes out to help if you have to run really hard, so you can, because that's painful. It's painful on the body. So it sends out endorphins and GABA. GABA calms you down, and the endorphins actually reduce pain. And then the cortisol stimulates serotonin in the amygdala, and cortisol raises blood sugar to fuel the sympathetic nervous system. This is how elegant the body works, but the thing is, when it's working, it's beautiful, it's great. This is the way everybody's been designed to work. But when it's not working, you're symptomatic. And this condition in a psychiatric office, in the psychiatrist's office, will earn you a lifelong prescription to multiple drugs, diminished quality of life, and an early death. In a holistic practitioner's office, this will get you a holistic program, an adrenal program, and some healing, and some dietary corrections, et cetera, and a cure. That's the difference here, okay? So success is when the pharmacist within can regulate itself once again the way it was intended to do so, which requires getting neuroexcitotoxins out and giving it the raw materials to produce its own neurochemicals in sufficient quantities. You will feel peaceful, joyful, confident, inspired, hopeful, enthusiastic, loving and loved, creative, energetic, and will sleep well. All the good stuff. This is the way you were designed to work. You were not designed for pain. That's why when you're in it, the body's got its systems to mediate it, but when those symptoms tank because you're not treating your body right, the symptoms will follow, and this is where you get in trouble. Okay. Preparing for phase 2 tests. Okay, so I need to discuss this real quick. You return, after your 8-week program, you will return. Now you know how to eat properly. You've been eating very well. If you're a meat eater, you reintroduce organic meats into your diet. You reintroduce, dairy in moderation, raw dairy. No sugar, no caffeine either yet. Not for another 6 months, and then only in extreme moderation. But you return to your regular diet, organic. You continue to stay off of sugar and caffeine. Discontinue all supplements and protein shakes for 6 days, and on the 7th day, you take your test. Now, if you're arranging it with your doctor, you just arrange your appointment for then. If you're arranging it with us, and we'll make sure you have your kit in time, and you submit your body fluids, and we'll send you down to the lab to get your blood work, and then your test is taken. So this gets a baseline true biochemical profile of your deficiencies, what organs are working and aren't working well, so we know how to write, so I know how to write a true targeted nutritional therapy based on evidence and given and providing you with evidence-based targeted nutritional therapies and adjuvant therapies. We might, want you to do some acupuncture or whatnot to continue the process, and that's usually covered by health insurance. So I always try and use the ones that I know are effective that are covered by insurance. Otherwise, the person doesn't get anything. Might not be the best one, but the one that is covered is better than nothing, and it's covered. So, and I know which ones are and aren't covered. So anyway, the biorepair phase is you take your test, and I'll be discussing in another teleseminar in this series how to manage your doctor and get these tests if you have the insurance. It involves the targeted nutritional therapy, which is based on the test results and progress on the program, the healing that you achieved, and if there's any lingering symptoms, which there rarely is, but sometimes people have some pretty chronic, bad problems like leaky gut syndrome or something, and sometimes maybe there's a little bit of something going on, but believe me, it's 95% of stuff just goes away. And then you just continue with the excellent health maintenance that you've achieved, and what you've been doing. Your exercise, getting your sun, drinking good water, eating good food, and you live this way, and you can expect nothing but health. Nothing but health. Unless that bus gets you, but people who live this way, are the ones that are winning the game. They're the ones that are living well. They have quality of life, and they have longevity. Then after your 6 months and you've finished up your program, you've taken your 6 months targeted nutritional therapy, and continued on your program, then you go into a maintenance phase. You're clear, man. You're healthy now. And so the question is, a lot of people love their caffeine. Is it time for caffeine? Well, you ask your adrenals. And if you have cleared your adrenal fatigue and you're sleeping great, everything is working well, and you have test results to show that your adrenals are functioning absolutely awesome now, then yeah, you can have a cup of coffee. It's not, I don't like people doing anything every day, but 1 cup a day. My grandfather had a cup of coffee every morning all his life, but he never expressed any addictive biochemistry or mental health symptoms, but he had a cup of coffee every morning of his life, and he died with a smile on his face at 93 years old in his sleep. So, but never more than a cup a day. And I don't, because I like to master myself, and I don't like addiction. I'm a biochemist. I know what neurochemical adaptation is. I don't like it. So I like my body being adapted to the natural organic world and not caffeine. So I just do it occasionally through the week. But that's how you know if it's time to have your cup of coffee, or 3 or 4 a week, not a day. Extreme moderation with sugar and desserts, and by now you know all the healthy ones out there. There's healthier choices out there, especially if you've gotten familiar, which you would have by this time, with the with health food stores. So and what's offered there, there's agave products, there's carrot cakes that are made very, very well and consciously, with a lot of fiber in them. There's healthier choices. You'll never have a Coke or a candy bar again, I can tell you that. Those are out. But to bake a pie, or go over your friend's house or your family's house for Thanksgiving and have a piece of bread, of course, extreme, you have earned moderation now. Now you can have a moderate lifestyle. That's the reward. You can have a moderate lifestyle now and be healthy and not have to pay for it. And the supplements. I'm going to give you this one right here. The maintenance program supplements are whole food, organic, multivitamin, and mineral. I love, my favorite ones are Vitamin Code. They are organic. If you're not taking organic multivitamin, you're taking a bunch of pesticides with it, right? You don't want that. And you don't want synthetics. They don't know. Nobody knows what nature does. Nobody can improve on nature. So just, get the organic food base. Don't take synthetic multivitamins. They're junk, in my opinion. They're pure junk. Vitamin C, lots of it. You can't get enough antioxidants these days. And in another module of the series, I'm going to actually be showing you how to make water the excellent antioxidant it was meant to be, which so is the spring water and most of the sources that they're bottling water in from. So your cod liver oil, people, you need your omega-3s, and cod liver oil has 400 international units of vitamin D in it, and everybody seems to be deficient on it. The American Naturopathic Association has reported that it's the number one deficient supplement dietary requirement today, so because nobody gets sun anymore. But you want to get your sun first, but definitely always take your cod liver oil. And then CoQ10, I'm a big fan of CoQ10, 400 milligrams is therapeutic, and that's your maintenance program. And one day, each and every one of you are going to be there. Like Rachel said at the beginning here, I want you to continue to visualize yourself and rehearse it in your mind, that beautiful, full capacity life that you are quitting these drugs and alcohol for. That's why you're doing it, not because, you want to quit drugs. You remember and always envision the reason why you are getting off of drugs and alcohol, because you want your life back. And I want you to always go to bed at night envisioning what you're going to be doing. Who does that person look like? What are you doing? Just do it. It actually works. It keeps your mind focused on the life you want to build for yourself, and not continually every day get lost in the cycle of addiction and the tragedy that it is, when even just one day is lost to addiction, So every day that's lost to addiction is a tragedy, and I want each and every one of you to stop the bleeding, and get on your program. I'm really, really happy that everybody is here learning how to do this. So I'm going to be handing it over to Rachel for the questions. We're now going to be going over to the question portion of the teleseminar, and then we'll be closing out in just about 12 to 15 minutes, okay?